I'm Mary LaFave, Director of Public Policy for CenturyLink, located in Denver.
Mark Saltis, Director of Public Policy in Denver, Colorado.
And Kevin Walker, President of Walker Strategies, and CenturyLink is my client.
Very good.
So just to sort of quickly frame what's going on, the CenturyLink has requested a franchise agreement to come to Colorado Springs, and Andy wrote an article on that already, so that you kind of know that background. That is coming up for a vote on Tuesday, and we're just here to sort of give you.
Is the actual franchise agreement coming up for a vote on Tuesday?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it would be a done deal if it passes on Tuesday. I mean, it would be a first reading.
Yeah,
Passes,
yeah,
right.
two readings. We
Right.
did a informal meeting at council on the 11th.
Okay.
And so we gave them background. The attorneys were there to give them some background, and some
Right.
of the city staff were also there.
What about this obvious concern of cherry picking, and the mayor expressed in Daniel Chacon's blog today, and he's expressed this to Andy. I mean, Andy has had this in stories, that this would not cover all areas of the city.
So let me, first of all, let me first say, Mike Burnett, who's the Vice President General Manager for CenturyLink for Colorado Springs, Southern and Western Colorado, had fully intended to be here. He is passionate about our delivery of PRISM to Colorado Springs and making continued investments, bringing new jobs to the city. But he called me this morning. He had a last-minute emergency come up. But so Mark and I have now become his voice, and hopefully will deliver the messages strongly.
Okay.
But before we go into what I would call the Comcast argument to preserve their monopoly over facilities-based cable, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, and I can give you a quick summary of this. To me, the most important thing is to look at this franchise and CenturyLink's entry into facilities-based cable television service as what are the benefits it's going to bring to Colorado Springs, the city itself, and more importantly, all of the citizens of Colorado Springs. So number one, first and foremost, this company is making a commitment to invest at least $20 million in the area. And in addition to that, Mike Burnett has stated publicly that we will be adding somewhere between 30 up to 50 new positions, which are very more technical in nature and therefore higher paying, which in turn over time is going to bring a significant new revenue stream in terms of benefits paid, salaries, etc. So there are two major ways that we are investing in Colorado Springs. So that helps the city right there. Secondly, in order to deploy our cable TV service, we need to have at least 25 megabits of broadband streaming to the household. So where we are deploying it, we are driving fiber. So the investment is we're driving fiber deeper and deeper into neighborhoods and installing the electronics that in turn create this up to 40 megabit pipe into the household to support PRISM and high-speed internet. But the beauty is, even if people don't want our PRISM service, and we certainly hope they will, but nonetheless, one of the other absolute benefits is a broader distribution of very high-speed broadband services for people that need to eat a lot of bandwidth when they're on the internet, etc. So that's a lot of the service itself. But the most important thing is consumers benefit, number one, by having lower prices. And the FCC is ordered by the Cable Act, requires the FCC to periodically report to Congress on benefits of.
Right. But what about distribution of these benefits? Who's going to get them? Who's going to get them first? Who's ultimately going to get them?
So first and foremost, number one, the FCC has proven that for whatever reason, only facilities-based competitors like us, like Verizon in their territory and AT&T with their UVerse product, those are the only entities as second-base facility providers that bring down prices. But when prices competitors respond, and I'll tell you, we just rolled this out in Las Vegas, and the incumbent there was Cox, responded with lowering prices. When we were in Phoenix before, exactly the same thing. Cox's prices were about 15% lower than they were in other Cox areas where they had the cable monopoly.
Right, so what you're saying is this will lower prices universally
Yes,
throughout town. But
exactly.
if I live in, say, southeast Colorado Springs, am I going to be able to get this new service that you're bringing in?
So what we've committed to do, and let me just back up and say, I've been with the company quite a long time and was here when US West, so several companies ago, launched its cable TV service. They had it in Douglas County, up in the Highlands Ranch area, and also major footprint in Phoenix. But what we agreed to back in the late 90s was, just like the incumbent monopoly provider, we agreed to build out an entire city within 5 years, which is the traditional requirement when a city gives a cable company a monopoly. We agreed to that, and even though we had a compelling product at a compelling price point and had pretty good success in getting customers, the fact of the matter is, when you are the second entrant and have to make this significant investment, you cannot agree to cover the entire city, because you can't, we start out with 0 customers. We have to win over every customer from one of 3 sources, either from the incumbent, from people that have Dish or DirecTV today, or attract people that have no TV service at all, or are over the air and now want something a little more robust. But we're making a $20 million commitment with 0 customers, and what we have talked about is and what the franchise contemplates is, we will make an initial commitment about coverage in the city, and then we will have further builds tied to success in the market. So as we are successful, as we reach certain take rates penetration, we have a commitment to further build out.
Where did you do this 5-year agreement that